And greetings, and blessing. Thank you for being here today. Yes, peace, grace, and love to everyone today. And today, we have a special message today. Yeah, it's a good message. I don't know. Okay, but anyway, first week of Black History Week, Black History Month, that is. Uh, and it goes to a place where should we rejoice? Should we mourn? Should we just be complacent, or should we just go on about our business? Never mind this, that, and whatever we're going to do it, don't do it, leave it alone. But I would say, let's take action, let's do something. But how are you going to take action when we're not together? So going back to Black history, once upon a time, a place, strong men and women, children, ah, they was in a place that muscle, big time, right? So some other countries wanted to see people to work for them, but instead of saying employees help wanted here or there, and let's put up a big sign, help wanted, no, they decided no, we're gonna capture them. Then they had people fighting against each other, and the winner took all of the one that warriors, sold them to other people. This is what happened. This is the thing that going down, went down there too, right? One army, a warrior, a village, a country fought against another country, and all of the ones that were captured were sold into a situation. They call it slavery. So going through this place throughout the Western Hemisphere, North America, South America, it was really hard. The Caribbeans, all right, plantation, and then people needed clothing. Cotton was king. So they had the people that was enslaved to do the work. All right. So now, they start to treat them in a bad place, bad way. So we come today just to talk a little bit about the history of what happened, of why the people was moved and removed from their home, their country, their area, to go to another place, not voluntarily, but on their way. Many lost their lives. Many even committed suicide rather than to say, I'm yielding to this. And this is what happened too. Yes, it did. So, and as they put on these places called plantations, and then it was like, how you say, punished because they work hard labor. They were raped. They were doing different things that happened to them, bad things, and they made people money, big time money. And as it go on, one day, someday, years and years delayed, I think we'll look about 300 or 400 years later, they said, well, we had a war because now you're free. You call it freedom. But instead of being free, what you gonna do? Where you gonna eat? What's happening? There's no jobs, no food. So you had to go into a situation that was uncomfortable even then. And you made it through, you survived. Uh, you made it through. And then as the time goes on, jobs start becoming available, maybe low income job, uh, maybe labor, different things, mining, different places, forests, uh, just cleaning, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? The women had to hold down the home. Sometimes they had to pay with their bodies. Yes, they did. They knew used to lying about it. Let's bring it to truth. Then, you know what I mean? And then let's go on. Time flies on. And then they started building. Many of them built the cities. They built towns. And then because of the situation at hand, the towns were destroyed. Some were flooded, some were burned down, some were just plain old annihilated. But in course of all of that, you had these people that were dispossessed from their home. They were inventors, architects. They did things that was like, ooh, that was so beautiful, that's so nice. They did it. And yet and still, they helped make these people that they were underneath there uh, rich. And sometimes they were doing things that were so valuable that the whole world was was profitable. The whole world was blessed by their invention, their work, their confidentiality, their goodness, and all that good stuff, right? So now, as they move on, they're moving on. All of these inventions, then the musicians and sports people, and there were nurses and school teachers. Oh, they started building schools. At first, the school was like more or less in a country area, either a one-room school. They endured. The people endured. They endured so hard, so wonderful that they, it was hard at the time. They had to go through a lot of stuff in time. Some people had to did dangers and violence to them. So, but they kept going. They endured. Those people that was once slaves and still under the certain type of abundance endured the heartaches, the hard times. Even though there were times when they had a little fun, a little comfort, everything, you know, they get to their little churches and stuff, and then they said, well, the church people put the church situation on them. Well, you got to believe this, you got to believe that, and if you don't believe this, you're going to go to a place of eternal damnation. You're going to always suffer forever and ever and ever. All right, so they said, well, okay, let me see what you got there. So they started reading the Bible. First, you could not read. They wouldn't let you read. They held back the reading. So maybe one or two was able to get the chance to read. And they started studying the same book that the other people were trying to push up on them, the owners were pushing on them. And they found out, like, wait a minute, this is something different here about love and carrying on and doing good job and this, that, other. But see, we're under a slave mentality. So they kept trying to hold them down in one way or the other. And then as they move on, these towns, these cities and things, sometimes they were like flooded. The whole city would come underwater. The whole city got burnt. People got hurt. Some people got killed even. And then on up down the road there, they had wars. And then they had some of these people to go digging latrine, digging roads, doing this and transportation, all that stuff. How you said the supply people, right? All this was handled by these people, and they still been honest. They still been honorable, but they wasn't really cared for as much as anybody else. So anyway, on down the road, say that he couldn't get these jobs, but then down the line, the women started doing more than just being a nurse, more than just being a teacher. They started going to school for higher education. They became more than just a teacher, more than just a nurse, but then they're becoming doctors. They become lawyers. All right. So then they become in the scientific area, but not that much in those days of the scientific way. But then they became in the political sense of speaking. So then, being in the political speaking section, they still had to pay dues. Women still paid dues. Nobody wants to talk about it, but they did. Some women held the house down with their bodies, even. So let's talk about it. But nobody wants to hear about it. But let the whole story come out. Let the whole story come out. And they continue to invent things. They continue to be valuable to the society, valuable to everyone else that's living on the face of this earth. Even had one man that helped with the blood. Now, lives were saved by changing of processing blood, the plasma that is. But the poor man lost his life with his own invention by not having been served with his own invention because he was a color. It was a dark color. So the time goes on, moving on, moving on. Then they become a society, social issues, social standing, social this and social that. They were for entertaining, sports, musicians, different ones. The church, oh yeah, the church flourished. And how did the church flourish? They had that little $5, they had the $1, they had $2. They put the money in the church. This is for about dues, they call it. Everybody had to pay a dues. If it wasn't but a quarter, they put it in the church. Wow. And then you thinking that the church would like say, come to the rescue? The church would do this, church would do that. But then they used to have, the church said that we have the meetings and things. People got together in the community, formed the community. But like I say, communities started being disappearing. People say, I want to live over there on the big side of town. I want to live over here on the good side of town. I want to have a job at this factory, this job at this corporation. So they started training more and more and more. Schools was improving a little bit here and there. Transportation was improving. But then things started to happen again. People was making money. They were having jobs. They having entrepreneurs. They have businesses. I mean, big businesses. They even had hospitals. Yeah, banks, pharmacists, all that good stuff. Stores, big time stores, supermarkets, farms, ranches. But then down the road, there was a community, and they call it the Black Wall Street. Because of the situation, because of the certain thing that happened that supposedly happened, Black Wall Street became a ghost town because it was the death of a few people, death of a lot of people that was, right? And then the destruction of their property, destruction of their home. They had to vacate, they had to run for their lives, and some didn't make it. But yet and still, we moved on, continue to grow, continue to flourish, continue to evolve. But as we evolve, things start to happen even more. There's a distance in the situation, distance in the people. And that distance in the people stop caring. They stop being together. They stop having family meetings and family outings and family gatherings together. The elders was no longer a part of the family as it was then. Not today. You don't hear them two talking about families and that type of thing no more. Not that much. Every once in a while you might hear about a family. But then all of the businesses, one or two businesses maybe succeed, but you don't see big business like it was before. You don't see banks like it was before. You don't see drugstores and supermarkets like it was before. Insurance companies, all down the line, things were happening, but no, things went wrong. So what happened? So we see the good, and we see the bad all the time, constantly bad, and then the ugly, the ugly. The ugly is when the people, these same people that came across, they came across and died. The same people that came across, they were lynched. They came across, they were beaten. They came across, they were raped and taken advantage of. They came across and they're separated from the family. These are the ugly because they can't get together. They can't hold to be a part of a situation. Now, why? I'm asking you, why? You think these people can't go back to those plantations? Oh no, they don't want to farm no more. Oh no, they'd rather go to jail with the cockroaches and the rats. They'd rather go to the ghetto. Oh yes, with the cockroaches and the rats. They'd rather go to jail on cell box 2 and become somebody's female male. They'd rather go to jail and hurt and kill each other rather than to say, I will go back to the plantation and buy the plantation. I will go back to the plantation and grow crops and vegetables and feed my family. But I will sell this thing because somebody wants to buy it. And they bought this plantation and they started building developments. Oh yeah, You'd be surprised that some of those farms, some of those plantations now are housing developments, making millions and millions and millions of dollars. Why couldn't they go get together and buy the plantation? And this is one of the things that I've been given this inspiration. You know, it's been on my mind, it's been on my heart for a long time to get people together. Oh, well, we can't get the money from the bank. Okay, you can't get the money from the bank. Bank red line, your bank don't want to do this, bank want to that. Build your own bank. All you need is a small bank, one bank that can reach like a how you call that thing, cyber bank, that is, that can reach anybody and everybody. Make a deposit. Oh, well, we can't trust nobody. You can't trust. Make it stipulated. Make it so that you got to trust. Make it so that if you trust, you might not be alive tomorrow. See, but no, we're gonna leave it up to the court, leave it up to these people, leave it up to people, leave it up to the man, leave it up to the municipal. They'll tell you what to do. They'll tell you how to do it, and you already know what to do, know how to do it. Nobody within, when you put Jesus, the one that brought you that Bible, the one that said, "Oh, read this book," the one that said, "Study this book," one that said, "This book is so important," but yet still, it held you to a standard, held you to a bad standard. But now that book can give you freedom. That book can give you power. That book can give you advancements. But where happened to that book? But we're going to go to get money from other people, other sources. They will go to and be corrupt and steal, corrupt and love money, corrupt and take advantage of others, not to get together. And like I was telling someone before, all we have to do, form a corporation. 1,000 people, a million people, okay, say 1,000 people. Put $1,000 into a bank account, an account. Don't even think about taking the money out. Put that money to good use. Go to the farmers who are still there, the ranchers. Go start to buy the land, rent the land, do something with the land, and call it, okay? I said, there's a name that came to me, and it was so, it blew your mind, really. It's called Shareholders United. I came up with the idea of Shareholders United. Oh, no, we can't do that. That's old slave days. No, the shareholder, the concept of shareholders, uh, no, that's the shareholders. Yeah. See that? You know what I mean? Sharecroppers, that means. Yo, sharecrop. Share the crop. They would take 3 loads, they would give you 1 load. But you don't have to do like they did. You can change the situation, change the narrative, change it. Do what you got to do what you want to do. But no, we don't want to get it together. Take the $1,000 for 1,000 men, 1,000 people, not just have men. Form your organization. Make sure your paperwork is correct. Build your credit union. You don't have to build a bank. See how it's like, why are people so ignorant? Why are people so down? Why are people so un you're so wise you can build this and build that, invent this and invent that, but yet these are some basic things to go back to the land, take over the land. We have about 3 different states where you have this population. They will not bother you if you're in numbers. You don't have to worry about being underwater again. Your community will not be underwater again because you will protect your community better than you did before. Because before, you let the people know everything you want to do, everything you're going to do. You wasn't prepared. And then that place, they said the Wall Street, rebuild it. Oh, in 1920, Wall Street is still in a slum area type thing. All these cities that were burnt down during the riot in 68, not together and not built up. But take a little old town in Japan where a typhoon came through. That town was back together within a year's time. It was rebuilt just like a typhoon never hit it. Town was destroyed. Wow. But what about us? We got all this money, all these people talking junk to each other, talking junk about each other, and can't go out there and help somebody. All this food, the prices going skyrocket, and you didn't tell me, oh well, we can't get together and form cooperation to help people with the farm, be a membership partnership with ranchers and farmers and the corporation. We work as a corporation. Now you don't have to worry about this and worry about that. All these guys that have been in the military, you mean to tell me they can't teach you how to help defend yourself? Go to be a politician. They should be mayor. They should be constable. They should be city hall worker. They should be municipal people. They should be policemen and sheriffs all over the place. But no, I don't want to be no sheriff. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But yet still, the roaches and rats are still eating. They're still eating. And they ain't dying. And they still fat. But you are hurting because now you're still in the place. You're still in the place of being ugly. Being ugly. All of these things can come about to be a change. And we keep crying about the crime. We keep crying about mental health. We keep crying about physical health, physical elements. We're eating food that is contaminating. We're eating food that is killing us. But yet and still, we can't have a franchise. A franchise? Who cooks the better chicken? Who makes the better hamburger? And you mean to tell me that you can't make a franchise and have a franchise? Come on. How stupid are we doing? How bad do we have to be to make a standard? Don't you think that God said, I wish you all things that you would prosper and be in good health? Huh? He wasn't just talking about other people. He was talking about anybody and everybody who called on his name. We can't hold to his name. We can't be a part of his name. We can't get together in his name. We got to fuss and fight, cuss and carry on. So this is what I wanted for people. I'm just bringing it to you. And then we don't know how to treat our mates like we used to, at least try to. Men become less than a man, become femmes. Men become weak and unproductive as a man and a leader in their families. Women are cheating, men are cheating. So when is this religion? When is this service from this book that we're supposed to be reading 400 and 500 years ago? When is it going to come to place where it said, I can touch this book, I can read this book, I can speak this book, and it's going to be all right? When, my people? So, when you celebrate Black History Month, make something out of it. Do something constructive. Get it together. 5 people can start a movement. 2 people can start a movement. I have already started a movement by myself because you know what? I'm up here trying to help people, especially men, become a better man. The red flags called behaviors, toxic behaviors. I offer them to them, people, in a flame called for the price with the price of a cup of coffee. Not one man, his wife cheating on him, his wife making him feel like he's less of a man, and yet still he's all upset and mad because she got busted. She would not have gone out the door had he studied and tried to apply himself to be a better man to that woman that's running out the door into the arms of another man or another woman or her pet chihuahua. And that's what's happening today. That's what's happening today. Period. Like it or not. So therefore, people, as we go through life, as we go through the challenges of life, Look at the whole picture. Look at the best picture. Look at the good picture. Look at the truth that is. And then be a part of the truth. Stop holding to a lie. And then if you say you're going to be a part of a holy thing, holy situation, then do it and do it the right way. That's it. So with that in mind, wonderful people, thank you for being with us again today. Just thought I'd bring it to you a little bit, here and there, let you know and understand that, hey, this is life. This is life. And the way things are running today, chaos and confusion is taking over. And we're in the days and the days. Well, Jesus going to, never mind when Jesus come back. How about a good life today? Living today. Living today in the right way. In the right way. You don't know how long it's going to be before the sky pop over when Jesus come through in his chariot of fire with all his angels with him. Oh no, we don't know. So in the meantime, let each day be a beautiful day, a wonderful day, a blessed day. Think about it. Okay? Peace, grace, and love to all.